we pray. Kneeling low, hear what we say. Freedom calls in every tone. Faith is built on hearts of stone. Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With his love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to ARP in the morning. It's your host, Wise Man. I appreciate you all pulling up this morning. We got a pretty good show to get into. We got a good amount to talk about today. I don't know if we're going to be as long or as short as we were yesterday, but we got to talk about what we got to talk about, right? Appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Shout out to Zephyr K9 first in the chat at 8:45 a.m. this morning. Let me show her some love real quick. She says, howdy, y'all. Good morning and have a blessed day. Yes, have a blessed day. Make today a great day. Shout out to Redefined Queen. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Scott Young? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Marta Magdalena? Appreciate you pulling up this morning from Michigan. True Texan in the building. What's up, Christy? Chi-Town in the house. Chi-Town in the house. And I want to show some love to Jennifer Jensen. Shout out for joining the membership via Buy Me a Coffee, super ARP supporter. Thank you very much for supporting the channel in that way. And also I want to show some love to Eric Plummer as well. He's supported the channel via Cash App yesterday. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel. God bless you. Thank you very much. What's going on, Reason Mahmood? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, as always. Good to see you. Thank you very much. What up, Regina? How you doing this morning? What's up, Regina? How you doing this morning, sister? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Red Bucks? Bucks County, PA in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Lori? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up as well. What's up, Chloe? How you doing this morning? Good morning to you. Oh, yeah. Lori Otteson says she got up, making some coffee and getting the dogs fed before getting things rolling. Yeah, I had to take the dog out this morning. I got him out a little earlier today than normal. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Was able to get him out and about. Let's see, who am I missing here? What's up, Thea Flies High? Roscoe, New York in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Delinda? How you doing this morning? Washington State in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. Says she got her coffee as well. That's the one thing I did not get a chance to get up out off my desk and go grab my daggone mushroom coffee, but we'll get some once we get off of here. What's up, baby lungs? How you doing this morning? Burnsville, Minnesota in the building. What up, Larry Montgomery? Nevada City in the house. Donald Lovejoy, Colorado in the house. Marianne, appreciate you pulling up. Peace and blessings to you as well. What up, Marcus Tillman? Waldorf, Maryland in the house. What up, RJ Hudson? South Cat in the building. What's up with you, brother? Toy Mafia in the house. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Oh, yeah. What's up, Billy W? How you doing this morning? Scott 8T8, Milwaukee in the house. What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got 107 people in the house, man. Please make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't done so already. What's up, B? How you doing this morning, sister? Hope all is well. Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Billboard Builds? Attleboro, Massachusetts in the building. What up, EDH? How you doing? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Kevin Caldwell in the house. Rainy day out in Ohio. Yeah, we're supposed to get rain, I think, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. I wanted to go play golf, man, but if it's going to be raining out and kind of cold, I ain't going out there in that. I don't do the cold weather too tough like that. What up, Quincy James? How you doing this morning? What up, Buddha? How you doing this morning? West Sand Lake, New York in the house. Appreciate you all pulling up. What up, Francis? How you doing this morning? What up, Corinne? How you doing this morning? Corinne Easley. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you. Hey, Corinne, are you familiar with the Easley family out here in Baltimore? Are you any relations to Bishop Easley? You know, out here from out here in the Baltimore area? I'd like to hear that. What's up, Lisa Martinez? How you doing? Iowa in the house. Hobo Prospecting. What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Naughty Guy. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Dr. Mama? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Matthew Platt. What's going on? Just wondering if you listen to Bryson Gray or Tyson James. I listen to Bryson Gray and Tyson James a little. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're high up on, they're not high up when it comes to music. And I don't listen to a lot of music, to be honest with you. Even when I'm in the car or in the gym, I'm more or less listening. I'm either listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, or I'm listening to other YouTubers, some of my favorite YouTubers out there. But as far as artists that I listen to, I like Bizzle. I used to like Lecrae a lot, but he's kind of going off the deep end. I used to like D1 a lot, but he's kind of, made a left turn. When he got out there, it was like really stomping for Kamala like that. I was like, man, how you doing that? But a Christian, and that's not for me to judge someone in their faith. But and then there's also a few artists out there that I really like. There's a guy out there by the name of Hezekiah that I like. Who else? Man, there's a number of them that are out there that I do like. But Bryson Gray and Tyson James, no knock to them, at all. And I think they, both are talented. And I've listened to a few of their songs, but I wouldn't necessarily say they are a go-to if I'm listening to music. I do like more, singing gospel opposed to, hip hop. But when I want to listen to a little bit of hip hop, it would be, something faith-based. And in that category. But yeah, no knock to either one of those guys. What up, Kenny G? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Ed Mar? Mississippi in the building. Shout out to you, brother. KH Perform Horses. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Cowgirl. Okay. All right. Now, what up, Mark? How you doing? Nashville in the building. Anika, how you doing this morning? Chi-Town in the house. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, sister. What up, Cynthia? How you doing? Florida, out the Panhandle. I did a little bit of time out there in the Panhandle. I was stationed out in Pensacola, Florida, way back when. It feels like it's so long ago at this point, man. Time flies. What up, C. Bergie? How you doing this morning? What up, Theon? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. Vicky A. Jimmy Owens, Washington State. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. What up, Scott Curry? North Central Illinois. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Is that Germaniac? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Yeah, I'm on X. I am on X. I believe, I'm streaming right now on X, but my, hold up a second here. Yeah, you'll see it. If you look up Wise, A Righteous Perspective, it's on there. And then the @ is Wise17908. That's the @ on X. If you guys, want to check me out on X. I'm not super active on it, but I am on there. And, I do a little something, but I'm not super active. Nowhere near as active on there as I am on the YouTube platform. What's up, Hobo Rod Prospecting? What's up, K-Ro? How you doing this morning? Alan Parker, how you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Anita? Ace Brigade, Cincy in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Denise? How you doing this morning? Atlanta, South Metro. Now, I know I see you in GA, so you're in Atlanta. Are you? And you say South, so I would assume is that is that South Atlanta or is that? I guess you said South Metro, so I would assume that's like either Clayco, Henry County, or something along those lines. Denise, she would know. I grew up in the DeKalb County area, Stone Mountain, Decatur, Lithonia, what most people out that way would call the East Side. I grew up, on that side of things out there, middle school, high school, out in that general vicinity. So that is still home, although my brother still lives out in that area, but my parents, they live a little further east, out in Rockdale County now. They moved, but yeah. Ace Brigade said Kodak Black. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you. No, knock the Kodak. You know what I'm saying? No, knock the young Kodak. I can't listen to that, man. I can't. What you feed yourself. You know what I'm saying? The type of music, that you feed yourself. It really can shape your day, man. It can shape your mind. I think that's a lot of the reason why we have these kids out here going crazy because they're feeding their brains, this death music. Chloe says, I sound like a snob, but I'm getting Starbucks, the only expenditure for the day. I am not a Starbucks fan. I normally drink coffee at the house. I drink coffee at home just because it's just cheaper that way. But when I do go out and if I'm going to get some coffee or something like that out and about, it's going to be Dunkin's over Starbucks. I'm not a Starbucks fan at all. I think hoity-toity people go to Starbucks. I'm like, man, I still don't understand why people are spending $7, $8 for a coffee. That's crazy to me. But to each his own. You spend your money how you want to. What up, Kenneth? How you doing this morning? Says Zacardi, Ace Brigade, Lil Wayne. Nah, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Third base. That's old school. That is old school right there. I would prefer older, old school rap. I am a guy, in the mid 40s. I grew up listening to, Pac and some of these guys, but now like I can't even listen to that because it makes me cringe. The music itself, I can't believe I fed myself that. I can't believe I listened to that stuff. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But we're going to get the show started, man. Please make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done so already. If you'd like to support the channel in another way, obviously join the ARP family or you can buy your man a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Super thanks will stop the show. Super chats will stop the show. Anybody that joins the ARP family while we're live, it will stop it and we'll acknowledge them. Or anybody that gifts an ARP family membership, we'll stop the show and acknowledge them as well. We're gonna get things going, man. What's up, Steve? How you doing this morning? What's up, Steve? Yeah, my handle on X is wise17908. Yeah, RJ Hudson says he's not into rap or gospel, more of a metalhead or into classic rock. I can dig, each his own. Actually, classic rock's not bad. I'm more of a music connoisseur. When I was in college, man, I got into this jazz and this blues thing for a minute. And I listened to a lot of jazz and a lot of blues, especially while I was studying and things of that nature. It really helps. Chrissy says, what does the hoodie say? The hoodie says, greed will, and I cannot remember, but it's something in reference to greed. Greed will make you rich or dead, so quit while you're ahead. That's what it says. Yeah, I've had this hoodie for a while. Oh, Spalding County now. Was in Clayton. Okay, Denise, I see you. All right. Yeah, you went a little further. South. Who you running from? Don't answer that question. I already know. My homeboy, one of my best friends is police down there. I was just talking to him the other day. And I asked him, man, just talking about the things that go down, down there, in Atlanta. And I just asked, like, dude, how do you do that job? God bless you, and I try to keep him lifted up in prayer. He's police, down there. And I mean, he's a sergeant now, so he's not actually out on the beat, but still, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know how people do that job. I mean, we need those people. We need people willing to be police, but no, thank you. No, thank you. Not for me. I'm trying to get away from the danger. They run into it. All right, let's get the show started, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up as always. As always, make sure you hit that like button and share the video, man. Share it, Facebook, Reddit, all that type of good stuff. X, all those places. It definitely helps the channel as well. Let's get things started.
Because you said that these tariffs would go in effect on Monday. You said no pause, and today there is a pause. So how can people believe your words today?
It's not a question of that. You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. I'm going to go through it no matter what, and keep going, and you can't go through the wall. Sometimes you have to be able to go under the wall, around the wall, or over the wall. These guys know that better than anybody, right? You got to go around them sometimes. You're not going to go through them. So I consider, I think in financial markets, because they change. Look how much it changed today. We went from, pretty moderate today, but over the last few days it looked pretty glum, to, I guess they say it was the biggest day in financial history. That's a pretty big change. And I think the word would be flexible. You have to be flexible, like he's.
Oh, yeah. And Chloe, yes, hoity-toity. I'm convinced that rich people get Starbucks. I look at that coffee, man, $5, $6, $7, and in some cases, it can get upwards of, $8, $9 for a cup of coffee. Whew, that's rich. That's too rich for me. That's too rich for me. But, getting to the show, man, in one of the most aggressive trade showdowns in modern history, President Trump has once again proven that unpredictable moves can yield powerful results if you know how to play the long game. Now, what we do know is that China plays the long game. They do. But earlier this week, China responded to America's latest trade moves by jacking up retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods to 84%. That was more than doubling the previous 34%. Sounds a whole heck of a lot like, economic warfare to me. But here's where the strategy kicks in. In response, Trump didn't flinch. He just went all the way in. He didn't flinch. Went all the way in. And I'm 100% here for it, man. And I'm really sick and tired of these daggone radical leftists out there that are willing to sell us out, to China. For the life of me, I don't understand it. And early yesterday, the president wrote this. He said that this is it's a great time to buy, and then, a few hours later, Trump posted that he's pausing the tariffs for 90 days on all countries except for China. He's going to pause the tariffs on every country except China. China, in turn, they got hit with an even higher tariff at 125%. And the Democrats lost their daggone minds. They lost it. Chuck Schumer, for example, has apparently been left agape by Trump's tariff announcement. I mean, these guys are clowns, man. They really are.
The amount of money people have in their pockets in their livelihoods on something as vital as this, yes, it leaves you agape at what he is doing and how much damage he is causing and how little he cares.
So Chuck Schumer's upset. But to be honest with you, man, if he's upset, that's probably a good thing for the rest of America, because the Dow surged 2,900 points yesterday, while the S&P posted its biggest gain since 2008. So after all this doom and gloom, after all this fear mongering, telling everybody and anybody that would listen to a recession is coming, Trump's destroying the economy, the market bounced back better than ever yesterday. And that's what I call the art of the deal. And instead of the world rallying behind China in opposition to American tariffs, over 75 countries have already reached out to the Trump administration, not to fight, but to negotiate. That's what flipped the narrative. This wasn't America versus the world. It became the world versus America. Let that sink in. Countries that previously tiptoed around Beijing's influence have now openly pivoted towards Washington, seeking trade deals, exemptions, and renewed dialogue with U.S. commerce officials. And why? Because they know something that the media refuses to admit. The U.S. is and has been the world's largest and most valuable market. If you want to sell goods, raise capital, or grow your economy, you need access to the good old USA. You need access to the good old USA. If you want to sell goods, raise capital, or grow your economy, you need access to American consumers. Everybody knows this. For whatever reason, legacy media does not want the average American or these leftists out there that watch them, they don't want them to know that.
Again, this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And that, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position. They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors, and we are willing to cooperate with our allies and with our trading partners who did not retaliate. It wasn't a hard message. Don't retaliate. Things will turn out well.
Yeah, and it looks like it worked. Looks like it worked. So the media, the Democrats, predictably, they lost their minds, man. They're calling it market manipulation. Adam Schiff declared yesterday that he will be investigating the Trump administration for insider trading. These dudes are ridiculous, man.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation, and are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right? Should there be some other independent investigation into this?
Well, I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration. I think you're right. They're likely to stonewall, particularly if they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading. But they won't be able to hide it for good. I mean, we know who's in the administration. We can look at eventually what people are buying and selling. This will come out. But an administration that has their own meme coins and is already engaged in self-interested dealing when Elon is doging agencies that are doing oversight of his own businesses, in that kind of corrupt climate, you have to assume the worst, and we're going to try to find out.
This is how crazy that these people are getting, man. This is how crazy that they are getting, man. Adam Schiff, Mr. Collusion hoax himself. He's accusing the Trump administration of insider trading and demanding records on who knew what, when, and where. I mean, it's funny how no one cared. No one in the media cared when Nancy Pelosi made millions on stock options before certain legislation passed. No one cared. There was no conversation out there on we need to investigate who made money off of this. But now that the market's moved in Trump's favor, suddenly it's a national scandal. They're calling this a chaotic move, something that's damaging. They say Trump's playing games with the economy. But just a few years ago, Schumer himself was demanding tougher stances on China's currency manipulation, unfair trade, all of it. Where's that smoke that he had for China back then? Seriously. I mean, these people are hypocrites. Seriously, hypocrites.
To more agree with President Trump than I did with President Obama on Bush on trade. The whole idea for China manipulating their currency, I learned about them when I visited with Macney. I visited Crucible Steel here in Syracuse, and they were telling me back then how their steel products had an unfair advantage because China was manipulating its currency. That's how the whole issue came to the fore, because I happened to visit Crucible Steel back in 2004 or 5, sometime like that. So I hope he's really tough on China, on both North Korea and on treating us fairly in terms of trade.
Seems like he got what he asked for, right? Sounds like he got what he asked for. Trump delivered. The only problem is now Schumer has flipped. Just like the rest of his party. He's more committed to opposing Trump than actually solving problems. And meanwhile, Trump has been constantly tough on China for years. There's no flip-flop here. This is a long game, and he's playing it better than anyone. But here's what they don't want to admit. The real manipulation was theirs. Their fear-mongering triggered panic selling. Their fear-mongering triggered panic selling. It triggered a panic sell-off. And meanwhile, Trump was urging calm, patience, strategic thinking. Investors who stayed the course or bought the dip are now winning. They're reaping the benefit. And the left, they're furious because not only is Trump winning, but he's also proving their entire worldview wrong once again. And Trump called him out for it too. And he should. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some people today upset at the fact that he called them out, but it needed to happen, man. These people need to be called to the carpet.
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they've been talking about tariffs for decades.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker?
It says to the Chinese that their unfair trade policies have got to end. It says to the Chinese, this is a shot across your bow. Reform, because if you don't, there are going to be dramatic consequences.
How come when these Democrat elites want tariffs, everything's hunky-dory, but when President Trump wants tariffs, all hell breaks loose? Do you see this double standard?
I love this guy, whoever the hell that is. That's really nice. I appreciate that question. No, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, everybody knew you had to do it, but they never had the guts to do it. It does take guts. It even takes guts for our country to go through it. That's why I say be cool. They were saying about, see, just be cool. It's going to work out. It's going to work out, and it's working out. I can tell you, working out maybe faster than I thought. But I said it's going to take a little conditioning. It's a transition to. It's really, I think, it's a transition to greatness. It's going to be greatness. Our country is going to be. There'll be nothing like it, and people investing in our country, they're going to do better than they've ever done before.
Trump said it. They never had the guts to do it. They wasn't willing to go through a little bit of hurt to do it. They never had the guts to back China into a corner. Their economy is built on massive exports to the United States. If we cut them off, China's done. Everybody knows this. And Trump, he just turned the spigot off. He did. He's telling the world. What he's saying to the world is, work with us or get left behind. The plan is to replace China as the world's factory, bring jobs back to America, and use targeted currency and trade agreements to force or to make U.S. manufacturing competitive again. And for that, the Democrats now want to investigate him because the market didn't collapse like they wanted it to. I mean, the hypocrisy is on full display with these people. The double standards are glaring, and the American people are waking the heck up. They see who's serious about protecting this country and who's just in it, to play games for donor money. We can see who actually cares about this nation and its citizens and who has been and who is willing to sell the country out for a couple dollars. We can see it. And I'm a firm believer that when you let a people talk, you let a person talk long enough, they'll show you exactly who you are. And that's what these Democrats have been doing. This isn't about blanket tariffs or chaos. It's about tailored deals with individual countries based on reciprocity and fairness. The problem is the average American, unfortunately, didn't really understand what reciprocal meant, unfortunately. Now, every country is different. Every country's negotiation and trade deal, it's going to be slightly different. Trump knows that. And his team and people like Peter Navarro and Scott Besnett and J.D. Vance and Kevin Hassett, they're executing the strategy like pros. They're not trying to collapse the system. They're rebuilding it from the ground up with America in the driver's seat. And while the left continues to throw tantrums, Trump is pulling off what might go down as the most important trade reformation in modern history. And speaking of reformation, I got to say, the president had a busy day yesterday finding time to fix not only the market in our trade operation, but also fixing something a little closer to home, your showers.
We have a series of executive orders and a memorandum all relating to deregulation, which has obviously been a major priority of your administration. The first of these is an executive order. The Biden administration launched what you've called a war on showers. They had certain regulations that basically killed the water pressure of showers and other water appliances.
You can say it. Go ahead. What are the appliances?
I mean, it's everything, sir. It's
dishwashers,
toilets, sinks. But the shower heads are a huge
There's no
deal.
water. You don't get water. It's ridiculous.
So with this executive order, we're effectively going to be reversing that set of regulations to ensure that Americans have choice in the consumer market. If they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy one. If they want a real deal shower head, they should have the ability to get one.
You buy a new house, you pay a lot of money, and the developers, you're not allowed to do anything more. They put restrictors on. They used to have a restrictor where you could take it out, but now they weld it in. And you take a shower or wash your hands, whatever you do, including dishwashers when no water comes out. But you wash your hands, and in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous. And what you do is you end up washing your hands 5 times longer. So it's the same water. And we're going to open it up so that people can live, and we're going to hopefully have Congress approve it so it's memorialized. We're going to try and get all of these things, including straws, little thing like straws. We did straws a month ago where the paper straws were melting. They were dissolving. They weren't working well. And we went back to the plastic straws. We're going to get Congress to memorialize just about everything we've done here because most of it's common sense. But the water is horrible. When you go into anytime you see a new faucet, you know it's going to be a long wash of the hands. And so we're changing it. It's a big deal. I did it in the first administration. Biden came in his first week, and he had no idea what he was doing, but somebody told him to do it. In his first week, he put the restrictions on all the bathroom utilities. Even in areas that have so much water, they don't know what to do with it. You see those areas all the time with the flooding. So we're doing that, and we're going to get all of the things that you've seen. I think we set a record. We're up to almost 200 and 500 amendments. Nobody's ever done that many. We're going to get them approved by Congress so they're memorialized. And we look forward to doing that. It's very important. And Congress is going to start working on it as soon as we get the big, beautiful deal done. The big, beautiful deal is important. The biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. That's important. Okay. Okay. Is that okay? Good. It's a 10.
You did a good shower.
We rate the signatures. That was a 10. That's why.
So President Donald J. Trump just signed an executive order reversing federal regulations that limited water pressure from shower heads. I mean, these regulations originally implemented during the Obama administration and reinstated by President Joe Biden cap water flow at 2.5 gallons per minute to promote water conservation. President Trump criticized these restrictions, stating that they led to inadequate water flow, which he humorously noted affected his ability to wash his hair efficiently. I don't have that problem. You guys know I don't have hair. You know, somebody, I think it was Renee Suzanne talking about some, why you wear these hats, hey, I don't have hair, and it's rare that I leave the house without a hat on my head. especially when it's sunny outside. You know, you got to protect your dome, man. You got to. But you know, it's funny because he was, you know, talking about, you know, being able to wash his hair efficiently. But, you know, he remarked that, you know, I like to take showers, you know, to take care of my beautiful hair. And for those of you guys, you know, that have hair, you know, hey, kudos to you guys. You know, I'm on the other side of things, you know, with that. But, you know, he was expressing his frustration, you know, over the reduced water pressure. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Yes, Natasha, I do got the hair. Yeah, it's growing out on the face, but it's up top, it's gone. And it's been like that for a long time. I've been bald probably since, man, 28, 29. Seriously. But the executive orders, man, it directs the Department of Energy to rescind the previous water flow limitations, aiming to restore higher water pressure in household fixtures. The White House framed this, you know, move as part of the administration's broader efforts to eliminate overregulation and enhance personal freedom. You know, critics, you know, there's critics, you know, they argue that the rollback, you know, that it undermines water conservation efforts and could lead to increased water usage. Environmental advocates, you know, they've expressed, you know, concern over the potential environmental impact, you know, of lifting these restrictions. Dale said, well, hopefully that's a little, maybe not. I don't know. But, you know, this action right here, it reflects the ongoing debate between regulatory measures aimed at conservation and the desire for deregulation to enhance consumer choice and convenience. And in a recent episode of The Young Turks, I know we got to talk about The Young Turks real fast, co-host Anna Kasparian delivered a scathing critique of the Democrats, which sort of got to the root of their problem and why I don't see them, you know, winning again unless, you know, they change course. I just don't. She said that instead of offering real solutions, Democrats mock voters' concern about immigration, inflation, crime, and so on and so forth. They created a vacuum, and guess who filled it? President Trump. Let's get into it.
No, Democrats don't like that. Democrats don't like strategy. They like to pay influencers to pretend like Democrats are perfect, but they don't like to listen to their base. They loathe their base. I mean, how many election cycles have they made that abundantly clear? They loathe their own voters. So they hire these like pubescent like influencers on TikTok to pretend as if the Democrats are perfect and they're totally kicking ass when they're not. They didn't offer anything in the last election. They gaslit Americans who are concerned about very serious issues within the country. And when you do that, you create a vacuum in which Republicans come in, Donald Trump comes in, and he's like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so look guys, unfortunately it's.
I didn't detect any lies there. I didn't detect any lies there. You know, and it's not only their base that they loathe. You know, it really isn't. It's not only their base. Democrats, you know, they loathe average Americans, average American workers, middle class workers. You know, who just want an opportunity, you know, to enter the market, to buy stocks. You know, they don't like those of us on this side of things. They only care about the elites. There's this real momentum behind middle-class tax cuts and rumors that a new tax bracket for millionaires could be created to fund those. Imagine the irony. If that happens, just imagine this. If there is a middle-class tax cut, which I would assume all of us, you know, in here today would be a part of that, would benefit from that. Imagine if that happens, and the irony that it will be the Democrats, you know, out there defending the rich, out there defending millionaires and multimillionaires. These are the same people who cried about the stock market, you know, will suddenly pretend that they care about millionaires losing a couple shekels. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, you know, Anna Kasparian, she is not happy with the Democrat Party. D, you might be onto something. I don't know if she will go MAGA, but I think she will probably at least go independent because I think she's fed up with these daggone Democrats, the lying and all of that. I think she's fed up. Not only did she call out the Democrats, in general, and their blatant double standards, but she also called out Kamala Harris, the DNC, and the entire progressive media machine, because instead of listening to their own voters, they shamed and attacked anyone who questioned the narrative. That's who these people are, man. You have to get on board with everything, lockstep, 100%, or you'll be ostracized.
Many things.
Shout out to True Texan for the $2 super chat. Proud member of the Deplorable Voter Club. I am as well. Thank you. Thank you for the $2 super chat.
There were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
She may have told the American people, she may have warned the American people, but she didn't do it compellingly enough to win.
That is the absolute point. And look, when I criticize, I'm criticizing myself. I own this. I'm part of the ticket. And somebody has to come up with a strategy.
Well, some cracks are beginning to form between Kamala Harris and her 2024 presidential running mate, Tim Walz, with the latter taking issue with something Harris said in public recently. Now, last week, Kamala Harris made her first public appearance in months, speaking at the Leading Women Defined Summit in California. This happened last Thursday. And she used this as an opportunity to look at American voters and say the following.
We are seeing organizations stay quiet. We are seeing those who are capitulating to clearly unconstitutional threats. And these are the things that we are witnessing each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
I'm just gonna go to you because, no, I'm gonna say it. You were a crappy candidate. And you were part of a group of people who provided cover for a man who was falling apart mentally speaking, but decided to run anyway. Decided to stay in the race for a month after that disastrous debate against Donald Trump. And then when Biden, the most unpopular sitting president, called you up before the debate and told you, remember, kiddo, no daylight between us, do not differentiate yourself from me, you listened. So to sit there or stand there and give a speech about, I told you so, I told you so. These are the worst people, man. They really are, okay? No, we all knew what Donald Trump was. We all knew. And for all the Democratic ass kissers out there who provided cover for the bad behavior of that administration, they directed their ire toward people like us who kept warning the Democrats, you're gonna lose to Trump, you're gonna lose to Trump, you're pushing unpopular policies, you're gaslighting Americans on the issue of immigration. If you do that, that creates an opening for someone like Donald Trump to come in and do what he's doing in regard to mass deportations, do what he's doing in regard to literally deporting people before they even have a single day in front of a judge to adjudicate whether or not they're undocumented, to adjudicate whether or not they're actually gang members.
Okay, so it's a lot to unpack there, but yeah, they definitely did that. They definitely did that. They gaslit the entire country, knowing full well that Biden wasn't fit. They did tell us for years that he was sharp as a tack. He's running the meetings, he's running circles around everybody, only to find out the truth. And now everybody's profiting off of it now. Tapper's got a book out. There's a few other people out there with books out, about how bad things actually were behind the scenes. But they went ahead and propped Joe Biden up anyway. And they would call anybody crazy if you noticed something that was off. And if you said something out loud that, hey, man, this dude don't look right. Somebody need to go on and, hey, go on and have him resign, go on and move on. No, they told you that you were crazy. They said that you are crazy. You're off. Or they'd really go hard in. They go in on you. They really go in on you. And is absolutely right, man. Democrats ignored warnings from the people on the left and on the right. They insisted on running Biden, and it backfired. They want to act like they knew all along, but I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. We're not stupid. They pushed Biden even after the disastrous debate. The polls tanked. It didn't matter to them. They kept lying. Even, when it was obvious to everyone that he wasn't all there, Nancy Pelosi got out there and said, hey, he had a bad day. Kamala Harris got out there and said, hey, he had a bad day. That was the talking point. That's what they were told to say by the DNC. Shout out to Elizabeth Solano. Shout out to you. Appreciate the $1.99 super chat. Good morning. I think that's everyone. Appreciate the $1.99 super chat. But they all got on TV after that debate and said, oh, it was just a bad day. He's fine. He's sharp. This, that, and the third. He goes out to North Carolina the day after, and they were like, see, we told you. And what's really wild is that some of these daggone progressive voters, they still want to support Democrats after all of this. After all the lies, all the gaslighting, all the betrayal. They still want to support these people. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can support a party that has lied to you. And now they're writing books about it, telling you, yeah, we lied to you. Yeah, we did it. We lied to you. He wasn't that sharp. Here's what it was. Kamala Harris wasn't a good candidate. Here's what it is about her. Nobody liked her. They're writing books about it, and yet you still have people willing to support these people. I just don't understand it. Are you a glutton for punishment? Are you a sucker? Somebody said Stockholm Syndrome. That very much could be the case. That's like getting with someone that cheats on you. Not just once, but like habitually. You take them back, believing that they're never going to cheat again when they've already cheated on you 10, 15, 20 times, and you've caught them every time. And you're continuing to rock with that person. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Now, what we do know, about the cult that is called the Democrat Party, they crush dissent within that party. They crush dissent. You cannot have your own thought within that party. They give you your talking points. They give you what you are supposed to believe and what you are supposed to think. There is no civil discourse within that party. So again, I ask, why are these people continuing to support them? I mean, if you're done with the lies, I'm not telling anybody here, I'm sure a lot of you guys are MAGA folks. And if you're not, if you're done with the lies, I'm not telling you to go and just go full-fledged, wholeheartedly support the Republicans. But I am telling you to just stop voting Democrat, stop voting blue no matter who. I'd be okay with you going independent and judging each candidate based off of their policy and their track record. I'd be okay with that. But just supporting the Democrats, blue no matter who, is silly. It is silly. I just don't understand it. Go be an independent voter. And, when the candidates, pull up in your district, in your area, your representatives, your senator, go take the time to do your own research and come up with your own conclusion. Seriously, Quincy, yes. I want to pull this up. Go think for yourself. Yes. I try not to tell people, I know what I believe, and I know who I support and why I support them. And I can articulate that. What I'm asking is for the average voter to be able to do the same thing. I'm not saying, go be a Democrat, go be a Republican. I'm good with you being independent. I want people to not be low IQ voters. I want people to take the time to do their own research, their own due diligence, and just stop voting a party because they feel like they're supposed to do that. Stop that. Seriously. Take the time to just do a little bit of research, just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's all I ask. And if you still want to go support the Democrats because you really believe in their platform, by all means, God bless you. Go do it. I'll disagree with you, and I'll tell you why I disagree with you, but that's your right. But the people that just vote blue, no matter who, they don't know nothing. I mean, come on, man, you're wasting your vote. It's a waste. Shout out to Chloe for the $9.99 super chat. She said, from your hoity-toity follower. Cheers and keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Chloe. Sip on your Starbucks, with your pinky up, with your pinky up. I'm sure when they yell your name out there, you Queen Chloe or something along those lines, huh? B, you're right. B says that takes work, research. Most people, especially blue votes, they ain't got no time. They ain't got no time for that, nor the brain power. They just do as told. You're right. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. You're right, but it's so unfortunate. I've talked to people that say, yeah, I need to start doing some research. I need to start watching CNN more. I'm like, no, don't do that. I've been told that. They're like, yeah, I'm going to start doing some research. I'm going to start watching CNN more. I'm like, no, please don't do that. That is not where you go and get your information from. Please don't do that. Silly. Delinda, you're right. You're right. She said, wise, they started dumbing down kids in school so they wouldn't think for themselves. We are witnessing those results today. You are absolutely right. The dumbing down of America, it's been catastrophic, to be honest with you. It really has been. It's been catastrophic. It's been catastrophic, seriously. That's so unfortunate too, man. You're absolutely right. Again, that's just like, last week, when President Trump was talking about the reciprocal tariffs, and I was in the gym, and I think I mentioned this story, but I was in the gym, when me and one of my buddies, my guy that I work out with, on a day-to-day basis, we were talking about it, and he works, in an actual office. He goes in the office on a day-to-day basis. And I was like, dude, most of these people, man, they don't know what the term reciprocal means. These are college-educated people. These are people with, bachelor's and master's degrees. They don't know what reciprocal means. He was like, no, that ain't right. He comes back the next day and was like, dude, they brought this up. We started having a conversation. I started asking people, what does reciprocal mean? They couldn't give me just a base level definition of it. Seriously. So you got a lot of people out there that are quote unquote educated. I like to call them the indoctrinated. They don't know basic terms and definitions, unfortunately. And the sad part about it, like B said, a lot of these people, man, they're too lazy to go do the daggone research, or they may not have the brain power to do so. And they'll say their research is, let me go watch CNN, or let me go listen to what Joy Reid has to say. Let me go check that out. Tim Richter says a master's in what? Gender studies? You might be, that's one of them. It could be sociology, could be psychology, one of these degrees that, not going to pay you any money, unfortunately. But it's crazy, man. We have a lot of people, in this country that, they're educated. They've gone to college, but they don't know much. They lack common sense. They're not free thinkers. They don't take the time. They're not critical thinkers. They're not inquisitive. And I think those are the things that you really need. You need to be a critical thinker. You need to be someone that is willing to be a free thinker. And you got to have some natural, you need to be, inquisitive. You got to have some natural curiosity about yourself that want to learn, that want to go and let me go do some research. Let me read a couple articles, not just from the right, but from the left as well. Not just, from the right or left, down the center, and then do some additional research from there. We were talking about this yesterday. But I just don't understand it, man. I don't understand why these people continue to support these folks. And I've heard people say, man, I'm tired of these folks lying to us. And my suggestion is go for it, Natasha. Send me the link. Or you can email it to me real fast. Email it to admin_wise at proton.me. Email it to me. And again, I'm not here telling people who to vote for. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to tell people, I don't tell anybody, hey, go be a Republican, but what I am telling people is just stop voting blue no matter who, and don't know why, with no reason. Seriously, stop enabling people who clearly don't respect you. Stop enabling people who clearly don't respect you enough to tell you the truth. Boycott their behinds and let these people face the daggone consequences, because as long as you continue voting blue just out of fear, nothing changes. Nothing will change. They'll keep ignoring you. They'll keep ignoring you. And I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, these people, they've told you that they don't care about you and that they have zero intent on doing anything to help you or your family. And the crazy thing is that it's unbelievable. Kamala Harris, they're saying, I don't know how true this is, but they're saying that Kamala Harris is a front runner for the 2028 nominee. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, this lady, literally, her only platform was pregnancy termination and continuing to further the alphabet community, specifically the trans agenda. She didn't have any other real platform to run on. And yet they're saying that this lady is a front runner for 2028. Now, I've also heard that, Stephen A. Smith plans on tossing his name in or tossing his name in the daggone ring, which is even more ridiculous because what does this dude know about politics? What does he know about running anything? Either one of these people running, I mean, that should terrify the heck out of anyone that actually cares about the future of our country. Kamala Harris was a disaster of a candidate. Disaster. Her approval was in the gutter. She couldn't even answer basic questions. She flopped in basic interviews and was completely shielded by the media. Completely shielded by the media. But the reality of it is, I mean, even if she does run again, we'll see. I suspect, and I don't know who, I mean, it's still early on. I mean, I know President Trump has been in office. Has it been 100 days yet? I know if it hasn't been, I know it's real close. But I promise you, I don't know about you guys, but it feels like he's been in office for a year already with as much as he's gotten accomplished, over these first, 2-3 months. So it hasn't been 100 days yet. We're coming up on 3 months come April 20th. So it hasn't been 100 days yet. But because of the work that President Trump has been doing, it feels like he's been in office a lot longer. It really does. It's unbelievable to me that they want to try Kamala Harris again. Now, what we do know about the DNC as well is that they don't care about their primary votes. They don't care about that. They get to choose whoever it is that they want. They get to choose whoever it is that they want. Matthew, I don't know if Byron Donaldson is going to run in 28. I would assume that it's going to be J.D. Vance that's going to be probably the front runner in 28. Although I think Byron Donaldson has a chance. I would definitely support Byron Donaldson or J.D. Vance. I like both of those guys. They're young. They got young children. They have a real stake in this country. I like J.D. Vance because he was a veteran. He was a Marine. I like Byron Donaldson a lot. I think Byron Donaldson will be the future governor of Florida. But I think there's a few other people, out there as well. I think there's a few other people, out there, as well. I like Wesley Hunt. There's a few others out there that I think have a real chance. I don't know if Wesley Hunt even wants that. Maybe Wesley Hunt might look at, moving into the Senate or something along those lines. And RJ, I have zero interest in that. Zero. Zero interest. All right, I'm gonna check that link out. Give me 1 second here. Y'all bear with me. I will say this though, while I'm looking this up. If they run Kamala Harris again, you know it's gonna be night-night for them. It's gonna be game over. The Democrats, they are going to collapse under their own delusion. Y'all know it. They're going to collapse under their own delusion. You already know. Uh-oh. All right, I got it. I got it, Natasha. We'll get it up here in a second. No, I agree with you, Dwayne. I think Byron Donalds would be a really good president. I do. I definitely think so. I definitely think so. But yeah, RJ, I don't want no smoke. I want none of that, that comes with politics. I'm just not interested in that. What's up, Marcelo? How you doing, brother? What's going on with you, man? Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up, Grasso. But I tell you, these daggone Democrats, man, I tell you, man, if they run Kamala Harris again, they're going to be in trouble, man. They could potentially try to gaslight folks, through another, campaign, but it's not going to work, man. People are awake now. The difference between Democrats and Republicans, it's simple. Democrats crushed their own base. Republicans didn't want Trump in 2016, but the voters said otherwise, and Trump won. And that right there in itself is democracy. When Bernie Sanders tried the same thing on the left, the DNC rigged the primary to stop him. That's the difference. Republicans let the people decide. Democrats control the outcome before the first vote is even cast. Their primary means absolutely nothing. And for the life of me, I don't understand why the people on that side don't care about it. They don't care that their primary vote means nothing. When you think about the DNC, man, and the establishment, they think that they know better than their voters. They assume that their voters are dumb and low IQ, which, we just talked about that. That's probably the case. But they're blatant. They're not trying to hide it. This isn't a covert operation that they're pulling. They're very overt. They've been doing this for a while. Even though Kamala, after not having one single primary, you got 20% of Democrats right now that think that she got a chance. Tim Walz, it's crazy. That guy there, man, for the life of me, I don't know why, but he's out there thinking that he has a chance. They thought that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz had a chance to, basically carry the party to the finish line, and they thought wrong. They thought choosing a VP who lied about his military service was a good idea. I don't get these people, man. I don't get these people. What's going on, Eric? How you doing, brother?
Welcome to the Capitol. It's a great venture. Sir, you're welcome to come. Let me finish. Let me finish. Oh, hey, there's some passion in the wheel.
Oh, yo, people are upset, man. People are upset, and the people are waking up. The people are upset, man. And rightfully so. Stolen valor is a disgrace. And now Walz is running or turning against Kamala right now because that's what they do. They eat their own. They turn against each other. That's what they do. It shouldn't be a surprise, to be honest with you. It really shouldn't. But that's the Democrat way, man.
So we heard your former running mate Kamala Harris say she's not here to say I told you so, although obviously that's what she was saying about all the Trump chaos. We're seeing, I have to say though, what does I told you so really mean here? People heard her message. They did not vote for her. She lost every battleground state. You yourself have criticized the Harris-Walz campaign for being too cautious. She may have told the American people, she may have warned the American people, but she didn't do it compellingly enough to win.
That is the absolute point. And look, when I criticize, I'm criticizing myself. I own this. I'm part of the ticket. And somebody has to come up with a strategy. I think this is exactly right. This is the thing. Look, Democrats, it was a good night in Wisconsin. I was over there. We saw that.
They don't have strategy. They don't have solutions. They have complaints. They have complaints. They have critiques. But they don't have solutions. And to be honest with you, I think the American people are tired of people that complain with no solutions. So the party itself, they're more concerned with maintaining power than addressing the legitimate concerns of the American people. They don't have solutions. Again, they have critiques, they have complaints, but no solutions. The Democrat strategy of denial and, obfuscation, it's clearly backfired, man. Harris's attempt to distance herself, from the failures, of her party, coupled with Walz's admissions, it paints a picture of a leadership in disarray. And they are in complete disarray, which is both validating and concerning. Concerning because their mismanagement has real world consequences that affect us all, because we need true leadership at the table. We do. Barbara Corcoran just recently interviewed with the Business Insider, and I want to play you a clip just to show you. Who would you rather have at the helm? Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, another Joe Biden, or President Trump? Who would you rather have? Let's take a look at this.
You knew Donald Trump way back in his New York real estate days. What a charmer. And, despite, whatever you say about him, even you say he's a great salesman. What is his sales technique? Why is he so great?
He is a phenomenal salesman. He's not a great salesman. He's probably the best salesman I've ever been in the company of. And I spent a lot of time with Donald because he's 5 years older than me, I think 4 years, and he was raising his company right at parallel with me raising mine. And so I did a lot of work with Donald. And I can tell you, he is the best salesman I've ever met in my life. I watched him walk into a situation, for example, selling the Plaza Hotel to the Chinese out of Hong Kong, it was in Taiwan, group of Asians, wealthiest families in Hong Kong. And they were there because they were interested in the Plaza Hotel. And I was the broker, or my brokers, we were all at the table, and we were like really hungry to make this deal. And I watched him totally not pitch the Plaza Hotel, bury it, and talk about the land masses on the Hudson River and the buildings that would be there. They were not the least bit interested. They just wanted to buy the Plaza Hotel. Like a customer, I want to buy it, and Donald was near bankruptcy, really needed the money to bail out. And I watched him. I thought he was so off. He wasn't. They bought the land and built all those towers on the West River as we know it today. All those Trump towers along the river. That was the deal. How did he do that? I'll tell you what his masterful mind does. He is a genius at picking out the vulnerability of someone's personality. He can smell it, sense it, and trust it. Okay? So, for example, if you were to walk into a business meeting with Donald and you're saying whatever you're saying, I've seen it time and time again, he could see what your weakness is and not physically reach over and put his finger on it. But he just could see what your weakness is and play into it. Not the nicest thing in the world, but it's a certain gift I've never seen anyone else.
And there you have it. There you have it. Seriously. Do you want someone who can see other people's weaknesses and play into them to get deals made? Or do you want people, who are completely out of touch with the pulse of the country, with the people, leading the charge? If they run Kamala Harris in 2028, buckle up, man. I mean, it's going to be one of the most chaotic, tone-deaf campaigns in recent history. Even worse than the last one. We'll be watching every second of it, though. We'll be watching every second of it, though. You already know. We'll be watching every second of it. I want to share this right here. This came from Natasha. ICE raids Airbnb full of migrants. The whole country has these. That's what it says here. Journalists report on the new way smugglers and federal fugitives secretly move about America in violation of immigration law. It includes news clips and journalistic commentary. Let's check this out real fast.
Nobody can suspect, nobody can notice. An Airbnb gives smugglers the privacy of a garage that they can come in and out, drop illegal aliens, pick up illegal aliens. What we tell the community is that if you see something suspicious, report it.
So as U.S. troops close the border, those trying to sneak into and across America are now making some changes, with smugglers and gangs employing new tactics, not just inside the country to hide from authorities in rented Airbnbs, but also to literally hide their tracks as they ferry people across the few sections of the border not yet covered by a wall. But as you're about to see, some of these new ideas, they don't exactly work when used against the U.S. military.
These are carpet shoes. It's something that they're using once they cross illegally. Let me show you how it works. So you can see right here, there's a normal footprint, right? Pretty easy to track. When you put these carpet shoes on, pretty tough to follow that one.
These 8-wheeled armor vehicles, they are positioned to give a bird's eye view over the border. Strikers could be armed with cannons or machine guns to fight enemies. And we're told the DOD plans to add about 6 to 8 more.
It could be a house, it could be a garage, it could be a hotel room, a motel room, it could be an apartment, it could be so many different types of locations, and they will put so many people over capacity while they distribute them just like a product.
The area that we were in, we actually noticed right away clothing and personal belongings scattered along this trail. A reminder that family units and single adults from Central America continue to be smuggled through that area, agents tell us. Agents also say that it's common for migrants to leave clothing behind as they rush to avoid arrest.
So that's what they're doing, and it's a clear sign that they're trying to evade, and they're not coming in seeking asylum.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. No, they're definitely not coming through, seeking asylum. The crazy thing is, you walk through 3-4 different countries to seek asylum. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. Oh, we're seeking asylum. You literally walk through 3 or 4 nations to get here. Yeah, Dion, I mean, you and a host of people out there. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people that, they have a weak spot, for these people for whatever reason. Don't care about their actual American citizen, they're, American brothers and sisters out here, but they, for whatever reason, they have a weak spot, a soft spot more or less, for, people that, come across the border illegally. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really don't. So they're using Airbnb. They're using Airbnb to make this happen, man. This is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, but go check out Cash Jordan, man. Shout out to him. Wow, that's crazy. That's all I got for y'all today, man. That's all I got for you guys today, man. It's Thursday. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. Hope so. We'll be back at this tomorrow morning, Lord willing, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you have not hit that like button for me, please make sure you do that for me. I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the love, the support. Shout out to the Blues. What up, TA? How you doing today, brother? Appreciate you guys. Absolutely, Mike. Make sure that you are, paying attention to what's going on in your local area, in your local market. Quincy, I agree with you. They definitely need to be caught and sent right back where they came from. Absolutely. But I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. We'll see if we can get Grasso on the show tomorrow. See if we can get a couple of folks on. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a panel, and for a little bit, we'll do shorter me and get some guys on here. to talk about what's been going on this week, man. But I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Join the ARP, if you'd like to support the channel in that way, or you can buy your man a coffee. That link's down in the description box below. Keep God first, man. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all a little later. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. EST. Shout out to you guys, man. God bless you all, man. Take care.
Vibes so